In today's digital age, smartphones have become an essential part of our everyday lives. They are no longer used only for making calls or sending messages. Instead, they serve many different purposes, such as providing entertainment, delivering information, and helping us manage our daily responsibilities. From the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep, our phones are almost always within reach. For many people, smartphones have become more than just tools. They have turned into a habit, and in some cases, even a source of comfort. Whenever we feel bored, stressed, or unsure of what to do, we often turn to our phones without thinking. This constant use has created a strong dependence, making it difficult for us to imagine life without these devices. However, this raises an important question: what would happen if we stopped using our phones for just one day? At first, this idea may seem unrealistic or unnecessary, especially in a world where staying connected is considered important. We might worry about missing important messages, losing access to information, or feeling disconnected from others. Despite these concerns, taking a break from our phones can offer valuable insights. It allows us to reflect on our habits, understand how much we rely on technology, and observe how it affects our daily lives. More importantly, it gives us a chance to reconnect with the real world and with ourselves. In this talk, I will explore what a day without your phone might look like, the challenges you may face, and the surprising benefits you can gain from this experience. To begin with, one of the most noticeable changes during a phone-free day happens in the morning. For most people, the day typically starts with their phone. The alarm goes off, and almost immediately, they begin checking notifications, reading messages, or scrolling through social media. This routine has become so automatic that many people are not even aware of how often they do it. However, when you decide not to use your phone, this pattern is suddenly interrupted. Instead of reaching for your device, you are forced to pause and face the silence of the morning. At first, this can feel uncomfortable. You may feel a strong urge to check your phone, wondering if you have missed something important. This feeling clearly shows how deeply connected we have become to our devices. As time passes, however, this discomfort can gradually turn into something positive. Without the distraction of your phone, your morning becomes slower and more intentional. You are no longer rushing into the digital world. Instead, you remain present in your physical surroundings. For example, you might begin to notice small details that you usually ignore, such as the natural light entering your room, the sounds around you, or even your own thoughts. These simple moments, which are often overlooked, can create a sense of calm and clarity. In this way, breaking your usual morning routine is not just about avoiding your phone. It is about creating a new start to your day, one that is more mindful, more peaceful, and more connected to the real world. Following this change in your morning routine, another significant difference you may notice is the presence of silence. After stepping away from your phone, you are no longer surrounded by the constant flow of digital noise. There are no notifications, no background music, and no endless videos playing in the background. At first, this silence can feel unfamiliar and even uncomfortable. Many people are so used to having some form of noise around them that complete quietness may seem strange. You might feel the need to fill that silence, just as you would normally do by reaching for your phone. However, as time goes on, your perspective may begin to change. Instead of seeing silence as something negative, you may start to appreciate it. The absence of noise creates space for your mind to relax and slow down. It allows you to experience your surroundings more clearly and more deeply. For instance, you may begin to notice sounds that were previously ignored, such as the rhythm of your breathing, the sound of footsteps, or the movement of people around you. These small details can make your environment feel more real and more meaningful. Moreover, this quietness also helps you reconnect with the present moment. Without constant distractions, your attention is no longer divided. You are fully aware of where you are and what you are doing. As a result, you may feel calmer, more focused, and more in control of your thoughts. In this way, rediscovering silence is not simply about the absence of sound. It is about creating a deeper connection with both your surroundings and your inner self, which naturally leads to a more mindful and balanced state of mind. Building on this sense of calm and awareness, the way you approach your daily activities also begins to change. Without the constant presence of your phone, even the simplest tasks can feel surprisingly different. Activities that once seemed routine or even boring may become more engaging and meaningful. Take eating, for example. In many cases, people tend to use their phones while having a meal. They scroll through social media, watch videos, or reply to messages without paying much attention to the food in front of them. As a result, eating becomes an automatic action rather than a conscious experience. However, when you remove your phone from the situation, your attention naturally shifts. You begin to focus more on the meal itself. You notice the texture, the flavor, and the temperature of the food. You may even realize that you enjoy your meals more when you are fully present. This simple change can lead not only to a more satisfying experience but also to healthier eating habits. Similarly, your daily commute can take on a new meaning. Instead of focusing on a screen, you start to observe the world around you. You may notice the people nearby, the changing environment, or the movement of the city. These observations, although small, can make your journey feel more interesting and less repetitive. In addition, being disconnected from your phone allows your mind to wander in a natural way. Rather than constantly receiving information, you begin to generate your own thoughts. You might reflect on your day, think about your goals, or simply let your mind relax. This kind of mental space is often lost when we are continuously engaged with digital content. As these changes continue throughout the day, you may start to realize that your experiences feel richer and more complete. You are no longer dividing your attention between the real world and a digital screen. Instead, you are fully involved in what you are doing. In this way, a day without your phone does not just remove distractions, it transforms the way you experience everyday life. It encourages you to slow down, pay attention, and find value in moments that are usually overlooked. You may feel restless, unsure of what to do, or tempted to break the challenge and return to your usual habits. This reaction is completely natural, as your brain is adjusting to a slower pace. Yet, if you allow yourself to sit with this feeling instead of avoiding it, something interesting begins to happen. Boredom gradually transforms into an opportunity. Without constant input from the outside world, your mind starts to turn inward. You begin to think more deeply, reflect more clearly, and explore ideas that you might not have considered before. For instance, you may find yourself coming up with new ideas, solving problems in creative ways, or simply gaining a better understanding of your thoughts and emotions. In fact, many researchers believe that boredom plays an important role in developing creativity and critical thinking. Moreover, these quiet moments give your brain a chance to rest. Instead of constantly processing new information, your mind can recover and recharge. This can lead to improved mental clarity and a greater sense of balance. As a result, what initially feels like a challenge can become one of the most valuable parts of the experience. Boredom is no longer something to escape from, but something to learn from. It teaches you how to be comfortable with stillness and how to find meaning even in moments of inactivity. In this way, facing boredom is not just a difficulty of a phone-free day, it is a turning point. It marks the moment when you begin to shift from being constantly entertained to becoming more thoughtful, creative, and self-aware. As you begin to understand the value of boredom and become more comfortable with moments of stillness, another important benefit starts to emerge: improved focus and productivity. Without the constant distractions from your phone, your ability to concentrate naturally becomes stronger. In everyday life, smartphones are one of the biggest sources of interruption. Notifications, messages, and social media updates can appear at any moment, breaking your attention and pulling you away from what you are doing. Even when you try to focus, the habit of checking your phone can make it difficult to stay fully engaged with a task. However, when you spend a day without your phone, these interruptions disappear. You are no longer tempted to switch between tasks or divide your attention. Instead, you can focus on one thing at a time, which allows you to work more efficiently and more effectively. For example, when you are studying or completing an assignment, you may notice that you can stay focused for a longer period without feeling distracted. Your thoughts become clearer, and your work becomes more organized. As a result, you may be able to complete tasks faster and with greater accuracy. In addition, this improved focus can also reduce stress. When your mind is constantly shifting between different sources of information, it can become overwhelmed and tired. By removing these distractions, you give your brain the chance to work in a more stable and controlled way. This can lead to a greater sense of calm and satisfaction. Moreover, you may begin to realize how much time is usually lost due to unnecessary phone use. Small actions, such as checking notifications or scrolling for a few minutes, can quickly add up and take away valuable time from your day. Without these habits, you can use your time more wisely and more purposefully. As the day continues, this increased productivity can become very noticeable. You may feel more accomplished, more in control of your schedule, and more motivated to complete your tasks. This positive feeling can encourage you to maintain better habits even after the phone-free day ends. In this way, reducing phone usage is not just about avoiding distraction, it is about creating an environment where your mind can perform at its best. By improving your focus and productivity, you are able to make better use of your time and achieve more meaningful results in your daily life. As your focus improves and you become more present in your daily activities, the way you interact with other people also begins to change. Without the constant distraction of your phone, you naturally become more engaged in real-life conversations and social situations. In many cases, people tend to divide their attention between the person in front of them and the screen in their hands. Even during conversations, it is common to check notifications or glance at messages. Although this behavior may seem harmless, it can reduce the quality of communication and make interactions feel less meaningful. However, when you spend a day without your phone, this habit is removed. You are no longer tempted to look at a screen while talking to someone. Instead, you give your full attention to the conversation. You listen more carefully, respond more thoughtfully, and become more aware of the other person's emotions and expressions. As a result, your conversations become deeper and more genuine. You may notice that people feel more comfortable speaking with you when they have your full attention. This can help build trust and create stronger emotional connections. In addition, a phone-free day can also change the way you handle moments of silence in social situations. Normally, people use their phones to avoid awkward pauses or to escape from uncomfortable interactions. But without this option, you are encouraged to stay present and continue engaging with others. At first, this may feel challenging. However, over time, you may become more confident in your ability to communicate naturally. You learn how to maintain conversations, express your thoughts clearly, and respond to others without relying on digital distractions. Moreover, spending time without your phone can help you appreciate the value of face-to-face interaction. In a world where much of our communication takes place online, real-life connections can sometimes feel less important. This experience reminds you that direct human interaction is more personal, more emotional, and often more meaningful. As the day continues, you may find that your relationships feel stronger and more authentic. Whether you are talking to friends, family members, or even strangers, your presence makes a difference. People can sense when you are truly listening, and this can improve the overall quality of your interactions. In this way, a day without your phone does not isolate you from others. On the contrary, it brings you closer to them. By removing digital barriers, you create space for more honest, meaningful, and lasting connections in your everyday life. As your connections with others become more meaningful, you may also begin to notice a deeper and more personal change, the opportunity to reconnect with yourself. Without the constant presence of your phone, you are no longer surrounded by endless information and external distractions. Instead, you are left with your own thoughts. In everyday life, it is easy to stay busy and avoid thinking too much about ourselves. Our phones provide a continuous stream of content that keeps our minds occupied. Whenever we feel uncertain, stressed, or even slightly uncomfortable, we can quickly turn to our devices for distraction. As a result, we rarely spend time truly reflecting on our inner world. However, during a phone-free day, this escape is no longer available. At first, this may feel unfamiliar. You might notice that your thoughts become louder, and your mind feels more active than usual. But instead of avoiding these thoughts, you begin to face them. Gradually, this creates space for self-reflection. You may start thinking about your goals, your priorities, and the direction of your life. You might ask yourself important questions, such as whether you are spending your time in a meaningful way or whether your daily habits truly support your long-term ambitions. In addition, you may become more aware of your emotions. Without distractions, you have the chance to recognize how you really feel, whether you are happy, stressed, tired, or even overwhelmed. This awareness is important because it helps you understand yourself better and respond to your emotions in a healthier way. Moreover, this time alone with your thoughts can lead to personal growth. When you reflect on your experiences, you can learn from them. You may identify habits that are not beneficial and consider making positive changes. You may also discover new ideas or perspectives that can improve your life. As the day continues, this connection with yourself can become stronger. You begin to feel more in control of your thoughts and more aware of your choices. Instead of reacting automatically to external stimuli, you act with intention and purpose. In this way, a day without your phone is not just about disconnecting from technology, it is about reconnecting with who you truly are. It gives you the time and space to understand yourself more clearly, which is an essential step toward living a more balanced and meaningful life. In conclusion, spending a day without your phone can be a powerful and eye-opening experience.